Maddie here. So, funny story. I cheered for 5 years. And I got bruises and I got kicked and things like that. But I never sprained anything, broke anything, nothing. I have been a volunteer cheer coach for 1 week. And at our first practice, I hurt my wrist. And I was like, I'm sure it's nothing. I'm getting older. And so I just, actually used it. And then it kept hurting Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I was like, okay, maybe I actually need to get something. So I've only been wearing it at home. We've gone to like church and stuff and I haven't worn it there, but at home, I've been wearing this. It's really awkward with like my keyboard and stuff, but it is what it is. And I don't want it to actually be hurt. So we're being smart. Anyways, let's talk about our book. So this week we're talking about Goose Girl by Shannon Hale. Ooh, that is just a horrible. This book. Okay. So when people ask me for like a favorite book, I don't really have an answer for them. I'm like, I have a top like 3 or 5 books that kind of rotate-ish. There are some that have been in there for years now, but I have a handful of books that are like my top favorite books. This is in that top echelon of books. It has been there ever since I read it. I don't even know when I read this book for the first time. Well, apparently I've been keeping track in the back, which I did not know. It says times I've read this book and it says 5. I've definitely read it 2 or 3 times since I realized I put that there. And also just as I'm thumbing through, I found not 1, but 2 bookmarks. Because the last time I read this book, I did audiobook at work because I was having a rough week. So I listened to this book. And this is a warning I have to give with this book. This book is so amazing that whatever you read after it is probably just not going to hit the mark. Like literally, I read this book and then it's like, what could I possibly read that is as good as this book? Because it's so good. So it follows Princess Ani. I'm trying to remember what that's like the short. So it's Anadori Kiladra Taliana Isili, Crown Princess of Kildanri. That is a mouthful because part of their tradition is that you take your grandmother's names. Taliana Isili is her grandmother's names and Anadori Kiladra is like her first name, even though it has a hyphen. So it's Princess Ani, and she is the Crown Princess of Kildanri. At the very beginning of the book, it kind of gives a little bit of her backstory of her childhood, growing up, things like that. But the kind of catalyst for this book is that her father passes away in a kind of freak accident. And while she is Crown Princess and she's been raised to believe that she's going to be princess, she did not know that she had actually been betrothed to the neighboring kingdom's prince, and that her younger brother, who is the oldest son, is actually going to become the next king. And upon his death, her mother makes the announcement and she is then shipped off to the neighboring kingdom of, also, this is a signed copy. I definitely stole this from my sister, my oldest sister, sibling number 2. Didn't know it was signed. Okay, so she's from Kildanri and she is getting married to the Prince of Bayern. Book starts with her getting shipped off to this neighboring kingdom. When they are about to make it to this neighboring kingdom, there is a coup and her lady-in-waiting takes her place and she is left for dead in the forest. She manages to escape them, but she's literally in the forest in a kingdom she's never known. She's been a crown princess all her life. I mean, I wouldn't expect her to make it out alive if I was them. Obviously, she does make it out alive, and some forest people, literally that's like basically what they're known as is forest people, but they're just people of Bayern that live in the forest and like have villages in the forest. She passes out in one of their yards and they nurse her back to health, and then the next market day they go with their son into the kingdom, like the capital, and they make a petition before the king, and she's like, if I can just get before the prime minister who knows me, then I'll be able to like tell him all that's going on. And when she gets there, she finds all these people that rose up against her, because in her guard not all of them were against her, so like a lot of people were killed, and then a good chunk of them went into the city, and she like sees them as she's trying to hide from them. And when she goes to meet the prime minister, she is able to meet him, but he actually has retired and there is a new prime minister who does not recognize her, does not know her. So she hides, she's hidden her hair underneath a head scarf wrap thing. And she was going to like reveal her hair and reveal herself, and then finds out she's like, oh, that's not gonna work. And so she asks for a job in the horse stables, which they don't have, and she becomes the Goose Girl. So she joins the settlement of workers on the outskirts of town and becomes the Goose Girl. And it's all about her misadventures, about trying to gain her rightful place and trying to become a good Goose Girl, but all the while also discovering some powers within herself that go back to things she learned in her childhood. And There's so much I want to say. Again, this is one of those moments where it's like, I need to have like a spoiler version of my videos to be like, here's all the things that happen so you don't have to read it. But these are the versions of the videos that I really want you to read this book, because it's incredible just how much she learns, the initiative that she takes, the willingness she is to be corrected. So she was raised in luxury and like at a high status, but she was kind of always told she was doing things wrong. She was always being corrected. She was always being given lessons. And so she's used to being told she's wrong. She's used to being given lessons. So she doesn't mind not doing her job well and learning to do it well. And she meets people along the way. She makes a really good friend. She meets somebody. She has a horse that she loves. And like, that's a whole side adventure having to do with like her story. It's just so, she goes through so much. Ani, she changed her name to Isi for Isili, like one of her grandmother's names. So she goes by Isi. She goes through so much. She has everything taken from her, absolutely everything. And she is just so far from home that her mother has no idea what she's going through. She has no way to get help. And she crawls her way back from absolute destitution and misery. And she manages to carve a place for herself, but also understands that she is still the princess and she still has a place in this kingdom as the princess and, you know, one day the queen. And so it's about her not only becoming a good goose girl, but trying to figure out how she's going to get back to where she was. Because she carves out this place for herself, she doesn't totally desire to get back to that place. She knows it's kind of like where she's supposed to be, but she didn't love being a crown princess. Like, obviously she enjoyed like the luxuries of it, but the pressure and expectations, she never felt she was good at it. She didn't enjoy it. She just did it because she felt like it was her job, as her duty. But in becoming a goose girl, she also sees the hardships of the people of Bayern and she wants to make a difference. And she knows that she can make a difference the best by being queen. And so it's her carving out this place, but understanding there's something bigger for her and more for her. And so this book takes place in like 3 sections: Crown Princess, Goose Girl, and then Yellow Lady. Because there's this whole thing where people from Kildenry like have blonde hair and people from Bayern often have brown hair. That's why she covers her hair up like the whole time, and she uses like a root to like dye her eyebrows, because if people saw her blonde hair, they would automatically know that she is not from Bayern. She is from Kildenry. And like, she adjusts her accent and everything. It's really funny and really cool. As people find out, they're like, what the heck? Like, but your accent is so good. And like, you have really long blonde hair. And so it's just kind of funny. And so she's known, as the Yellow Lady at the end. But it takes place in 3 sections. Like I said, the Goose Girl section obviously being the largest section, and the Crown Princess being the shortest section. And as with Yellow Lady, as she comes into her own, as she takes her rightful place. And it's not easy going, believe me. But I love this book. I love the story. I love the main character. I love that she goes through these struggles and she doesn't just like figure them out and like, it's all good, she can conquer anything. No, she straight up struggles and feels sorry for herself and is like, how am I expected to handle all of these things being thrown at me with grace and dignity and that of a crown princess? She's like, are you freaking kidding me? Like, no, I am still a teenage girl and I am still struggling and this is still hard and I'm allowed to say that this is hard. And I love that because she may be royalty, but she is so relatable. And it is easy to understand where she's coming from. It is easy to commiserate with her. And it is also so wonderful getting to feel empowered and emboldened with her. It is so awesome getting to see her come into her own and understand her place in this world and take that rightful place. And how the story just all comes together is so cool and so good and absolutely 100% worth a read, worth a reread, worth a reread, worth a reread. It is so good, so worth it. I'm sure it has faults because nothing is perfect, but this book it's perfect. It's so wonderful. It's so good. This is like mini spoiler, but also not. This book, unlike last week, is Maddie guaranteed. It has a happy ending. Not only does she get her rightful place, but she also gets the boy. It's a little convoluted, but we get there and it's totally worth it. But one of my all-time favorite quotes, all-time favorite quotes is near the end. And when they're like trying to figure out what the heck is going on and like, can they be together and whatever. And then this is one of those quotes that like, I think I've said this before, but like most of the tattoos I want are all quotes and words. And this is one of those that I really, really, really want. So it says, she answered by standing and kissing him first and held his cheeks. And this is the quote that I want. And closed her eyes and felt sure as bones and deep as blood that she had found her place. Love that. Felt sure as bones and deep as blood that she had found her place. We're not crying. We're not crying. But I love that because she goes through all these struggles and it's as sure as bones and as deep as blood that she had found her place. Because she does, and she did. And I'm sure she would agree that it was worth every single moment, every single heartache to get to where she gets to. So that is this week's book, Goose Girl by Shannon Hale. You should read it. It is all-time favorite books. Like I said, I can't say it's my favorite because when I was trying to think, I was like, oh, but I also really love The Host. And I really love A Countess Below Stairs. Those are kind of the ones that I cycle through the most often is these 3 books. You should totally read it. I would absolutely love if you to read it. If you have read it, please let me know your favorite parts. I want to know. If you haven't read it, you should totally read it and then tell me your favorite parts. All those things can be left in the comments. So please like, comment, and please subscribe. That would absolutely mean the world to me if you would subscribe to my channel. If you got any enjoyment out of this video, if I made you laugh or cry or any of those things, made you feel just excited to read something or like excited that somebody else has read something that you love, totally please subscribe. That would absolutely mean the world. And comment your favorite moments down below. Comment books you'd love for me to review or just anything like that. I would love to hear from you. So I think that's about it. We're gonna go chill and hang out and it's gonna be great. But with all of that, I hope you have a great rest of your day. I hope you have a great night, a great week, great weekend, great month, great year. I hope you have all the greats because you're truly worthy and deserving of them. So until next time, 再见. That's bye in Mandarin for those of you that are new. 再见.